The Kirby franchise is notorious for being a fun and easy adventure that both children and adults can enjoy. Kirby in the Forgotten Land still adheres to these aspects, but to a lesser degree, offering a challenging endgame and a true final boss that will even test the most seasoned platformer gamer. What truly makes Kirby in the Forgotten Land such an exceptional adventure is the refreshing presentation that blends together realism and fantasy, allowing for something different that separates itself from the previous games that often recycled the same dreamland and very highly colorful environments that people know of, but at the same time blend into together some new elements. Kirby in the Forgotten Land has Kirby and most of Dreamland being dragged through a vortex to a new land, showcasing elements of a higher civilization that fell and now most of the land is being overtaken by nature. Kirby finds the Waddle Dees that were sucked through the vortex are being captured by the Beast Pack, large animals who are leading smaller tribes of creatures around the land. Kirby allies himself with a local creature named Elfilin after saving it from the Beast Pack to save the Waddle Dees and get home. The story is simple at first, but optional collectibles provide the rest of the narrative, and the game's story can get pretty dark. There are elements of mind control and assimilation. Heck, one of the bosses looks like something that would be in a Resident Evil game, but I'll get into that later. As for the gameplay, many, including myself, compared Kirby in the Forgotten Land with Super Mario Odyssey, but that's not the case. The best comparison would be Super Mario 3D World, or if you're a 3DS fan, Super Mario 3D Land. Kirby will venture through 7 worlds, each with distinct themes such as grassland, amusement park, desert, snow, and lava. Each stage ends with a boss fight guarding the area. The level design is excellent, with 3D environments that take heavy inspiration from more grounded structures rather than the fantasy world Kirby is known for. This combination blends well and provides a refreshing experience while maintaining Kirby's varied color palette. After many years of the same bright environments found in Dreamland, this new setting adds a much needed change of pace. It's not that Dreamland wasn't amazing to explore, but after years of playing through the same areas, they started to blend together and Kirby games started to lose their edge. So this is a much needed break from that. This doesn't mean that everything has changed. Kirby still has its iconic copy abilities, but added to the mix is mouthful mode. Here Kirby can hold on to items within the environment for new mobile and tactical options. These mostly serve as platforming tools such as brightening up a dark room, destroying concrete blocks, or washing away toxic slime to name a few. They're rarely used in combat due to their sheer power, and they just build on Kirby's already simple yet massively powerful abilities. The developers use these mouthful modes to create racetracks and unique environmental puzzles, such as using a ring mode to propel Kirby on a boat, and best of all, you still get to keep your copy ability. You just can't use it while in mouthful mode, but you can use the ability once you remove the item from Kirby's body. Copying still works the same, with Kirby absorbing the ability of mostly anything it inhales. Kirby can throw enemies who have no abilities for massive damage. In fact, you can play the game without any type of copy abilities, but it does make it significantly harder, with some enemies providing warp stars, which you can use as projectiles if you don't have a copy ability at hand. But for the most part, losing your copy ability is a lot harder here, as Kirby will only lose its ability if it's hit with a lot of damage or if you choose to eject the ability voluntarily by holding down the Y button. But, you know, the abilities are easy to hold on to because once you lose them, you can reabsorb them and you're given plenty of time to just get them back. Overall, the controls are tight and responsive, so you'll have absolute control over Kirby and his various abilities. The stages themselves are short, clocking around 2 minutes if you just rush through them. However, if you want to complete the optional missions to gain access to the game's endgame content, you'll need to do all the missions. Now, each stage has 4 missions. One of them is always located in hidden Waddle Dees, with the exception being boss fights since there's no hidden Waddle Dees in the area. The missions are varied and focus on exploring the entirety of the level or fighting the boss in unique ways, showcasing how much effort went into designing these stages' secrets and hidden paths. These generally extend the stage to around 5-6 minutes, and since the missions are listed in chronological order, you'll be able to locate where they are generally by just looking at the list. This also goes for the hidden Waddle Dees, as the icons are linked to specific Waddle Dees. If you missed one earlier, just look where the icon is placed and you can get a general idea of where it's located in the stage. Now, the map select screen is very well designed and I love it. I love when developers go the extra mile for this, and Nintendo generally does this for all their big name games. HAL Laboratory did an exceptional job in designing the hub world, with Kirby using its warp star to pick levels and fly through the environment. You can boost for faster traveling, and you can teleport to specific stages once you unlock them. Overall, it's a pleasing map and I love it personally. As for the hidden secrets, most are easy to find, usually located in areas that go off the primary path or highlighted in some way, such as torches leading you to the specific area. Main doors are highlighted with warp stars, and optional ones are with red stars, along with icons to show what powers are needed, but the game generally gives you everything you need within the area to access the hidden secrets. You do need to complete the stage for it to count though, as leaving mid-level will disqualify any items you've collected, but for some reason all damage received and items used while in the stage still count, so I'm not really sure about that. Using any items will count, but disqualifies you from any items you've obtained that will benefit you. Not sure about that, but that's what the developers did. The Waddle Dees will help Kirby by building and expanding their settlement of Waddle Dee Town. Here, Kirby can purchase items using star coins, which is the game's currency, and upgrade copy abilities by finding blueprints. The more Waddle Dees you rescue, the more options become available. This includes minigames such as fishing and serving food, an arena that includes 3 cups that unlock as you progress through the story, Kirby's home where you can recover health by sleeping and look at your trophies if you place them there, and specialized photos as you complete the game, and where Kirby can also just relax. And there is also a theater where you can watch all the cutscenes you've unlocked. The town is lively and shows everything coming together as you gather more Waddle Dees, making the area a lot more dynamic. Seeing the town grow and expand into a fully featured settlement is a joy to behold. It really shows that you're rescuing the Waddle Dees for a bigger purpose as you all work together to try and save everyone in this forgotten land. The items are the biggest reason to gather the Waddle Dees, as they provide helpful bonuses needed for the endgame. You can take one healing item or one stat boosting item that varies between health, damage, and speed. You can boost Kirby's ability for up to 500 seconds, but you cannot choose the full amount immediately. Instead, you have to keep purchasing the item in order to extend the time, which I think is a bit annoying, but I guess they just did it so you can't just hoard these items. Outside of Waddle Dees, the other optional collectibles include trophies in the form of gacha bonds and the blueprints, as I mentioned, that increase Kirby's copy abilities. Blueprints require not only star coins but rare gems found in the endgame stages, winning in arena fights, and completing treasure road challenges. Each upgrade can be boosted one more time, but it's the blueprint that provides the major upgrade, with some treasure stages only available if you unlock a certain copy ability and its upgrade. Some treasure stages are hidden on the map, with others being unlocked as you progress. The hidden ones are generally easy to find. Just fly around the hub world until you find an icon, and they're usually around landmarks on the map, such as trees, mountains. Just look in those areas and you'll generally find them. Outside from hidden treasure roads, there's also like coins you can find, so it gives you more reason to fly around and see what's out there. The challenge stages are your basic affairs that focus on the power at hand that is linked to the challenge. Completing these is easy enough, but getting the part-time will require some skill. You don't need to get these, but doing so will reward you with extra star coins. That's really the only incentive or personal accomplishment. Once the upgrade is unlocked, you can access it from the Waddle Dees armory, and depending on which option you choose will become the default copy ability for whatever enemy you absorb with that ability. The final option is usually the best one, but you can pick from whatever option you choose or prefer. For some reason, you cannot restart challenges immediately after completion, so if you missed out on the part-time and want to try again, you have to get out, then reselect the stage. It's a minor annoyance, but if you really want those part-times, you're just going to have to deal with it. Now, the gacha bonds are separated into 4 volumes, 1 being the common trophies and 4 being the rarest. These are obtained either through random drawings after you find them in a stage and complete the stage, purchased from Waddle Dee Town's capsule vending machines, or for completing specific tasks such as getting all upgrades. By the end game, you can also trade in rare gems for these gachapons, but in general, wasting rare gems on gachapons just gets you nowhere. These trophies provide an insight into the game's story that is not explained within the core narrative, and are just generally cool to look at. Maybe it's because I'm a Super Smash Bros. Melee fan and I grew up with those trophies, but these look really cool, and you can place 3 of them in Kirby's home to decorate the house. The core campaign is easy, and it reflects the difficulty of past Kirby games, but it's the end game where things take a turn, and here's when I'll get into some slight spoilers, but I need to address this for the sake of the review. I feel like you need to explain everything, and this is definitely part of the game, seeing that more than half the game takes up this type of content. So after you beat all the big bad enemies, they actually ally themselves with Kirby because why not? Kirby's incredibly charismatic and happy and wonderful. Why wouldn't you want to be friends with Kirby? Because being enemies with Kirby is a very, very bad plan. So Elfilin is asked by one of the Beast Pack, Clawline, I believe her name is called, or if I'm mispronouncing it, please tell me in the comments, but Clawline, which is the leopard, that her friend and the leader of the Beast Pack, while they leaded the Beast Pack together, has been taken to this new realm called the Isolated Isles. Leon, the lion, is basically in this world, and she asks Kirby to try and save him, and you agree to do so for the sake of trying to build this alliance between the Forgotten Land and Dreamland, and this is where the real challenge begins. Here the player has to play through the worlds all over again, but the stages are condensed into one level. Instead of missions, the player must now collect soul orbs from Leon, with each stage now featuring remixed enemies and environmental hazards. The best comparison I can make is Sonic Heroes on hard mode, or Super Mario Odyssey with those remixed stages with like Shadow Mario and all that. They take the same stages, but they add different obstacles and enemies. The orbs are hidden throughout the stage, some in plain sight and others not so much, but your friend Elfilin will tell you when all the orbs in an area are collected, but like with the missions in the core game, you'll need to complete the stage for it to count. And if you happen to miss just one, you have to redo everything, and that means even fighting the boss. So yeah, it can be very annoying, and some orbs are linked to a timer or an environmental hazard, meaning they can be destroyed, and once they're destroyed, that's it. You have to come back and do everything all over again. The levels feature the same boss fight, but entirely remixed. Instead of just increasing the damage or speed gauge of the boss, which they do, the developers crafted an entirely new attack pattern for each of the bosses. Not only do they look different to reflect the new Isolated Isles art style, but they also fight with new tactics that go above and beyond and require you to utilize all the techniques you've learned throughout the game. One of the fights against King Dedede takes reference from Super Mario 64's second Bowser fight and Ganon from The Legend of Zelda Twilight Princess in the way of massively powerful attacks. It's pretty much one of my favorite fights in the entire game. Fighting techniques I never used during the original campaign, I suddenly had to master to get through all of these fights, such as the dodge roll, garden, and counterattack. But that's not all. The game decides to throw one last hurrah and provides a final tournament cup that delivers the ultimate Kirby challenge. Here, you don't fight every boss, but instead you fight every powerful version of each boss in one long gauntlet, leading to the actual final boss fight. It just seems that the developers wanted to give players that challenge after so many years of people saying that Kirby was just this easy game that anyone can play, but here, they definitely went all out and I appreciate it. It almost seems like an old retro game where they just keep adding more stuff and it's only for the players who decide to go the extra mile. However, the checkpoint system remains forgiving even during the endgame content. As long as you have about 100 star coins, you can retry the bosses in these tournament cups where you died from, and this goes for the entire game basically. Star coins are not plentiful as in Super Mario games, but you're given a decent amount from collecting them in stages, completing objectives, and mini games. However, you're not given enough that you can just be cocky with them. You still have to be frugal or you'll end up just not having enough for the upgrades in order to make the boss fights a little more easier. If you are having a very difficult time, there are two difficulty options available. Wild mode is the standard difficulty, and Spring Breeze mode gives you a massive health boost. If you need another extra boost, amiibos grant Kirby star coins, items, and food for healing, with Kirby theme amiibos giving you more items. I actually tested this. I only had a Meta Knight amiibo from the Kirby franchise, and it gave me double the items and everything. Unfortunately, I can't show you that because I did it in handheld mode, but yeah, you get more items if you use the amiibos, and the option is there. Now, there is a cooperative option, but since I don't have a Nintendo Switch Online or anyone to play with, I can't really speak for this option, but I did see YouTube videos on it, and it just makes the game a lot easier. You can bring a friend along for the entirety of the game. It's basically you take control of a warrior Waddle Dee. It's nice to have the option. You can play either locally or online, so it is there, and there's also an online function where you can get help from other players and even deliver presents to each other. So if you want to deliver star coins to other people, there it is, and you can input codes in order to get special surprises. They're already all over the internet, so you can easily just look these up. Kirby and the Forgotten Land is a refreshing take on this iconic franchise, providing a new setting and challenging options for those seeking to 100% the game. The visual design is exceptional, especially the animations, and the overall presentation is beautiful. If you want to get everything and experience everything in this game, it'll take you around 8 to 10 hours. It took me around 9 hours to get every single collectible, complete every minigame, and just do everything to get that 100% marker. And if you want to know what happens when you get 100%, there is a link below in the video to showcase that, or if you want to see all the Gachapon collectibles. Overall, it's absolutely fantastic. If you're a fan of Kirby or platformer games in general, you can't go wrong with this game, and I just love the fact that they combine these new elements into this visual design that complements the original Kirby design while also giving this refreshing take. It's just a beautiful game. It's fun to play. You can play alone or with friends. It's just a joy to play, and I can't recommend this game enough. If you have a Nintendo Switch, you definitely owe it to yourself to play this, and if you don't have a Nintendo Switch, I can see this game to be a major system seller as well. So there's my review on Kirby and the Forgotten Land. I thought it was exceptional. Tell me your opinion in the comments below, what you thought of the game. Check out my walkthrough, my collectibles, all the guides that I have for Kirby are linked below. Remember to like, comment, all that social media stuff. Follow me on Twitch. Thank you for joining me, everyone, and stay awesome.